What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the markets were interesting today. We had the S&P go up 0.2%. The Dow pretty much broke even, up 0.03%. We had the NASDAQ 100 up 0.3%. And the Russell did very well. Small caps were on fire today. Russell 2000 up 2%. So today I want to break down some technicals, go over stocks I'm looking at, my thoughts on the market, and a little bit of what I'm doing here. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, and let's get right into it. And oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention, get yourself 2 stocks from Webull and $30 from M1 Finance. Those are free, linked right down below, and let's get right into the video, guys. So look, SPY ended up going up, like I said, a little bit, nothing too crazy, up 0.2%. And what we notice here on the 5-day, 5-minute especially is we successfully held 417, 418 today. We actually double bottomed at that point, considering we closed above it yesterday. And this morning, in literally the first 30 minutes, we ended up holding 417, 418 and rallying. So that is a good sign in the short term. But what is not a good sign, I guess you could say, is we're failing at 420. I mean, we failed there yesterday, failed there after market yesterday as well. So pre-market, at the market open, and after market yesterday, and pre-market, and pretty much all of today, and now after hours today, we're failing at about 419, 420. So I need to see that break. Like I've mentioned before many times on the channel, 420 is a resistance stemming back from the end of April. So this needs to break. And I guess a positive sign that you could point out here is we are holding the uptrend on the 5-day, 5-minute, pretty much the past couple of days. You guys can see higher lows are being made, but then again, we're making lower highs. So we're in this wedge. We're right under the moving averages on the 5-day, 5-minute. So like I said, we need to break out above 420, 421, and from there, I'm thinking all-time highs are going to hit, guys. That would be what this would lead to, especially because if we look at the macro trend, and it's not years of data here, but it is 6 months. I mean, it really depends on what you consider macro. But in this case, we're looking at the 6-month chart, and the trend is clearly up over the past couple of months. And we also double bottomed last week, really the past 2 weeks. If we're looking at these two ovals right here, we double bottomed. Oh, geez, guys, can't even talk. We double bottomed there, and then we broke out. So the macro trend looks pretty solid right now on SPY. And again, we just need to break 420. I can't say it enough. So the next thing I want to look at here is QQQ. QQQ is interesting. We broke out of 333. We're above the moving averages on the 4-hour chart, which is a really good sign, but we are struggling at about 334, 335 the past 2 days, and I guess you can say we're making an ascending triangle pattern into really the past couple of days, 3 days to be exact. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but you should be on this 5-day, 5-minute. This is an ascending triangle. We have clear resistance at 335, like I said, but we're making higher lows into that. We're squeezing deeper and deeper into this resistance. So I'm thinking we ultimately squeeze out. I mean, that is what the ascending triangle would be. We squeeze out of 335 and we end up getting to, I'd say initially 337, 339 after that, followed by $343. So this is bullish. Yeah, it's really bullish, I'll be honest. On the hourly chart, very bullish, but we're just consolidating. So I'm going to put an alert at, let's say, 335.50. We'll put it there, 335.5. If that's able to break, boom, that is where I think we're going to go, 340 plus and maybe even all-time highs at that point. And what are your thoughts? I'd love to know what you think. Let me know down below in the comments as always. And if you guys are enjoying the video, smash that like button. That really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. So look at this. The VIX went down today, down 8%. Volatility, fear is dying down for the bulls. That is a great sign. I mean, we can't complain if you're a bull, and I am a bull in this market, you know. I understand that there's a lot of risks. Inflation is a huge risk, right? The Fed raising rates, that is a massive risk, which if they were to raise rates, we've talked about this many times, the market will go down. The stock market will go down. real estate will go down. That's no doubt about it. But I believe that that is not really a thing that they're going to do in the short term. I know a lot of traders, investors are nervous about that, but I think, yes, they eventually will raise rates, but that is more maybe 2-3 years down the line. So I feel like in the short term, it makes sense. Volatility is dying down. It looks like pressures of this sell-off, the fears of the inflation, it's slowly dying off right now, and we're going to get more inflation data. That is what we're waiting on as well. Next month, CPI numbers. This is stuff that can move the market, and if those numbers, let's say hypothetically, the CPI numbers come in better than expected, right? In terms of, okay, maybe inflation is not as bad as we thought. That is going to be very good for the markets. We're going to see a big spike overall, in my opinion, if that were the case. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. But again, I love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. We had gold break even today. Silver went down 1%. So yeah, that's the market breakdown for today. Let's now move on to the meat and potatoes, although I guess you can say the market update is part of the meat and potatoes. Let's get into some stocks now. Number one, NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA, and we got news about a couple days ago, a week ago at this point, I forget exactly what day, but we got news that they are, if the shareholders approve, if they vote it through, we'll see what goes down, but we got some news that they're going to be doing a 4-to-1 split, and that usually moves the stock higher because investors, traders, well, I mean, the people that really know, they understand that it doesn't change the valuation of the company, but it does make the stock's price look cheaper in terms of the straight up dollar value, from 600 to 150. The stock looks cheaper, although again, like I said, it's not really cheaper because the valuation doesn't change, but it makes it more attractive for people to hop in, right? So I think this is going to be a very good thing for NVIDIA. I feel like more people will hop in. And a way that you can trade this is obviously straight up buying the shares. But if you don't want to put too much capital at risk, I guess you can buy some calls. But then again, I feel like the call options for NVIDIA right now are sky high in price. So you might need a couple $1,000s just to buy one contract. I feel like that might be the case. And I'll take a look at the options chain, another video, and we'll see what they look like. But overall, they did EPS of $3.66 versus $3.28. Estimated revenue came in at $5.66 billion versus $5.4 billion estimated. And KGI Securities, they initiated coverage with outperform rating and a $750 price target. And usually I don't really care about the analyst guys because a lot of them are wrong. A lot of them have their own agenda. We're not going to get into that. But yeah, I don't really care that much. But the truth is, if a bunch of banks come out and upgrade a stock, usually the stock goes up on that news. Not always, but sometimes it does. And in this case, I mean, it was up earlier, and now they're tanking down because of earnings. But NVIDIA was up earlier in the day. It closed up 0.3%. I mean, big deal. That's really nothing at all. But they did close up. And after that beat with EPS, beat with revenue, they're moving down. So I'm interested in this dip. Earnings were pretty solid from what I saw. I'm not exactly sure what the guidance is. That's probably, or it could be, a reason why maybe NVIDIA is going down. Maybe there's some problems there. But overall, this dip, I'm looking at it. If NVIDIA is able to hold 610, which as of now it is, there could be a serious opportunity in this as a dip, as there could be potential back to about 633, followed by about 650. That is very possible, especially leading into this hype with the potential split. Are people going to buy before the split and then run the stock up? Or it could very well sell off for all we know. And if 610 breaks, 612 roughly, this is probably going to go down to 600, maybe 590, right around the moving averages here on the 4-hour chart, which would be even better. I would actually welcome that. So I could take maybe a gamble, but then again, I don't really like holding through earnings. And I don't like holding through splits, quite honestly. And, I put those in the same category, but I don't know. Maybe, splits a bit different from earnings. I guess you can't necessarily say those are the same because they're not. But, yeah, I don't know. It's speculative in nature. And I feel like 590-600 would be a better spot. So we're going to see if NVIDIA is able to pull down. We'll see. Might not happen. It might happen. And we had AMC today, guys. I know you're hearing about this all day from all of the YouTubers out there, the news outlets. I know they're talking about AMC, but I got to give my piece here. This thing is on fire. Up 20% on the day, up over $3, and now it's up about 40-50 cents after market hours. It's almost to $20 after hours. And you guys know $20, that is the sticking point. Well, one of the sticking points ahead here. And that was resistance from back in that massive rally. I mean, we saw it go to 25 momentarily, but the big resistance, I guess, yeah, it's 25, sure, but also $20 roughly. That is, I'd argue, an even bigger resistance. So in the short term, watch out for $20 to break. And I don't know. I mean, guys, this looks very overbought. I'd be nervous right now. And you guys know me. I locked in profits yesterday like a dummy. But then again, I made money. So I guess I'm not a dummy because profit is profit. I just, I didn't make as much money as I could have. But if I was still in right now, I'm just being honest, I would be nervous because this chart is very overbought. I feel like we just got 2-3 short squeeze days in a row, literally 1, 2, 3 days of just ripping, and 20 is a big level of resistance. So I feel like, and I don't want to be a pessimist, I'm just being real here, my thoughts. I feel like we might pull back a bit, but I feel like if it gets down to 17, 18 somehow, that dip's going to be bought up. I don't think we go back to 13, 12. I really don't. I think that's a pipe dream at this point, unless the markets do collapse, or even if this collapses. Sure, it could happen. I don't want to say it's not going to happen, but I feel like it doesn't go much lower than $16, $15, and if it does, that dip will be bought up, and who knows? I might even buy some of that dip and ride it potentially back up to 20. But overall, I think 20 is going to break. Call me crazy, but I think 20 could break, and we eventually get to about $23, $25. And as always, this is speculative. Don't buy based on my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. Always trade at your own risk. And let me tell you, this is very risky, but that's just my honest opinion. So, yeah, very overbought. But then again, it could short squeeze even more. Who the heck knows, guys? And it's just very entertaining to watch. It's so fun watching AMC, watching GameStop, watching these meme stocks. It's a good time, I'll be honest. This is the most fun that I have during the weekdays, guys. So, yeah, AMC, incredible. We had Snowflake report, SNOWM. I didn't realize that this company doesn't make they make money on the top line. They're losing money in terms of EPS. EPS came in at negative 70 cents versus negative 16 cents estimated, which was a bad miss. But I feel like for the value of this company, they did revenue of $213 million versus $212 million estimated. So revenue beat. And if you annualize that, let's say hypothetically they do $1 billion in revenue on the top line. Isn't this company, I don't have my phone on me right now, isn't this company like a $50 billion company, or it was at some point? I feel like that was a bit inflated. I think that could have been the market cap when it was back here at 430. Actually, let me reach down here for my phone quickly, guys. I need to see this market cap. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my Yahoo Finance app, and I just got to know, because if they're doing $1 billion in revenue, right, let's say annualized, and the market cap, okay, it's $68 billion right now. So you got to think, that price to sales is pretty high. You're talking about, if they do $1 billion in revenue in 1 year, you're talking about a 68 price to sales. So that is high, and I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I feel like if you're looking at this from a long-term perspective, it is a bit lofty, and I have to look at the growth rates to really give more insight on that. But just looking at price to sales, and they're burning a lot of money, and the EPS came in at a massive loss, or miss rather, that is a bit worrisome. But if you're looking at this from a trader's perspective, you're looking at the technicals, I mean, it doesn't look much better either. We're still downtrending. We are above the moving averages, but we failed topping or breaking out of 240. We topped at 240, which is why I have my alert there, because I think snow could be a decent momentum trade if we end up breaking 240. I think there could be a lot of upside from there, and not saying it's a great value for the long term if that were to happen. In fact, it'd get more overvalued if it goes up, but in the short term, as a trade, I think that'd be interesting. And another reason why it's down, I almost forgot to mention, they had Q2 guidance for revenue and EPS under the estimate, so they missed for guidance. That is never good. So watch out for Snowflake. The next one here is FUBO, ticker symbol FUBO. And no, I'm not telling you guys to FU. I would never tell it to my subscribers. And FUBO went up 13% today, up $2.72, and we're noticing a full-on breakout, right? We're above the moving averages on the 4-hour chart. We're seeing a golden cross start here on the 4-hour chart. 50 SMA is crossing above the 180 SMA. And are we out of the woods completely yet? Not yet. I mean, we are approaching this big level of resistance at $26. That was support in the beginning of March, also in the beginning of January. So I think if FUBO clears 25, let's say, I'm going to put an alert right at 25. This thing might go, might go a lot higher, because look, this is one of those stocks that 5% in a day is nothing. This could go up 20% in a day, and that's normal, right? We went up 13% today. If you guys remember when they reported earnings a couple days ago, that was about 2 weeks ago, actually, they went up like 30% in a day. More than that. Was it more than that? Yeah, it was like 40%. Holy crap, guys. So FUBO is a quick one. It moves quick, rather. And we notice here an inverse head and shoulder as well. I almost forgot to point that out. So this is even better for the bulls. If you think this is breaking out, well, you got the inverse head and shoulder giving you some affirmation there. So we're seeing that forming. I think this right shoulder, again, like I said, could break out. So let's watch out for FUBO, ticker symbol FUBO. Adobe is another one, ADBE. This one is right at a point of resistance, $508, $510, 505, right around that general area. And I think if this breaks, I'm going to put an alert at about 510. We run up to about 525. And if you guys, that might not be the best opportunity out there, you could argue. It's only from 510 to about 525. You could probably put your money in AMC and make the 2% in a minute that you'd make here on Adobe in about a couple days probably. But hey, if you're looking at something where it's about to break out, and you might want a little bit more of a conservative trade, although all trades are risky, but Adobe versus AMC, I'd say Adobe's less volatile, right? And you guys would probably agree with me. This could be a decent play. We could break 510, go to about 520, 525. If that were to break, maybe 538. That was the high from a couple months ago. So don't sleep on Adobe. And I do have, alert 510. And this intraday, or rather this yearly chart, tells you the whole story. You guys can see we might go 540. That is what we're seeing. And this horizontal channel has been in place ever since September. So the fact that we're peaking out of this, that is very, very bullish. And Beyond Meat, which I made a video on exclusively about a couple days ago, I'll link that down below if you guys are interested. Beyond Meat went up another 6% today. We're breaking out of the moving averages as well, and we broke above 125 and we closed above it. That is so critical, considering 125 was support all throughout February and in March and in April. So now that we're back over that point, don't be surprised if Beyond Meat somehow, and by somehow, I don't think it's impossible. I think it's actually probable this happens based on the trend. Just don't be surprised if it gets to about 138, 140. That's about 8 to 10% higher from where we are now. So watch out for this breakout. I'm loving it. And the last one for today is BBY, and this is Best Buy. This one went up 2.2% today. And if you guys remember, we mentioned this before, but if you guys didn't know, they report earnings tomorrow. Yes, they do. Tomorrow morning. And you guys must be watching this, considering this stock is quite volatile during earnings season. I mean, you guys can see this thing collapsed last time it reported. I think it closed at about, 113, something like that. And it dropped all the way to 101 the next day. So be mindful of that. And we rallied into the earnings, or the day before the earnings today. So that's a good sign. Maybe sentiment is bullish, but don't be fooled. This could easily drop down to the low hundreds again, which could end up being a buying opportunity. We just have to wait and see. And ideally, I'd want to break 118 on this. Maybe we break out of the moving averages and move up towards 125, which is, it has been, resistance for months here. And from there, maybe the ascending triangle plays out. This is an ascending triangle after all, guys. Look at it. You can clearly see we're uptrending into the resistance at 125. We squeeze out of there. Who knows? Maybe we go 130, 135. So we got to be watching BBY tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. We went over a bunch of stocks, my thoughts on the market, and we broke a bunch of charts down like we always do. And if you guys do enjoy videos like this, well, you're in luck. I make them every single day. So subscribe. Make sure to drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And turn on that notification bell. You might as well. If you don't want to miss any videos, do that. And smash the like button and check out my Patreon if you guys want my real-time buys, sells, all the moves I'm making, whether it's long-term investments, options moves, trades I'm making, all of that's on Patreon in real time, and you get morning update videos every day and a bunch of exclusive content and access to me. That's all on Patreon, link down below, or you guys can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon and make sure to get your 2 free stocks from Webull. That's linked down below, and you guys can get $30 from M1 Finance, $10 from Coinbase as well. All of those are free, and again, link down below. I'll see you all later. And oh, by the way, if you guys want to see a video on a bunch of stocks that I'm watching that are about to short squeeze, well, I made a video earlier. It's up here. Click that. I'll see you there. Thanks again for tuning in. Keep crushing the markets, guys. Stay safe out there. Peace out.